Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Yes, this is Ask Rob and Rob, the podcast where we, Rob and Rob, answer your questions. Very simple, hopefully very useful. Today, we've got a very simple question and hopefully we've got a very useful answer. That's coming up in just a second. But Rob, if someone's got a question of their own, a burning issue that they'd like an opinion on, how can they ask us?
Really simple. You just pick up your phone. You can be a landline if you still have one of those. If not, your mobile. And call 013-808 00035. That's 013-808 00035. Or go to thepropertyhub.net/podcast. That's exactly what Ed's done. So let's have a listen.
Hi, Rob and Rob. My name's Ed. I'm an investor living in Bristol. I was wondering if you could help me on the subject of floor plans and reconfiguring for development, so to kind of maximise space and value. When I'm looking for new investments, I'm always poring over existing floor plans, working out if I can make better use of the space by moving the kitchen or the bathroom, or maybe seeing if there's space to add another bedroom. I always end up with a lot of scribbles on paper, a lot of estimated measurements. I was wondering if you guys had any techniques or suggested resources to make this process quicker and easier. Loving the podcast and the hub. Hope all goes well. Cheers, Ed.
Okay, very good question, Ed. Neither of us are massively experienced in this kind of area. However, we do share a view that software can pretty much solve anything. And whatever you want to do, there will be software out there for it. So I think pen and paper isn't a bad place to start at all. But if you want to move on from there, make your life a little bit easier and perhaps show potential layouts to other people to get their input, rather than getting them to understand your scribbles, there's loads of software that you can use to polish things up a bit and save yourself some time. The best thing to do, I think, is very, very simply to go to Google and search for floor plan tool. If you do that, you will find hundreds of different pieces of software on there. One that I have used in the past, I've used this software for different purposes, not floor plans, but it's very good for that. And so I presume that it will be for this as well, is Glyphy.com. I'll link to that in the show notes for this episode, but I've used that for mind maps and charts, flowcharts, very easy to use. So that's worth looking at. But there'll be loads of other good ones as well. And you can also get tools that are specifically for your phone or for your iPad, so you can actually go around the property and do it pretty much straight away if you want to. And as another little tip, if you don't have one of those fancy laser measuring tools already, well worth getting one of those, because that way, when you're going and doing a viewing or something like that, you can just really quickly take some measurements rather than having to get out your tape measure, get someone to hold one end and all the rest of it. That's another tool to save you a bit of time. So whatever you want to do, there's always some tech to make your life a bit easier. Although don't do what we do, which is spend so much time looking for that tech that you end up spending more time searching than the time it saves you.
Yeah, you've caused me some issues here, Ed, because I've already opened about 10 tabs looking at different pieces of software. That's the great thing about Ask Rob and Rob, is these questions that we probably wouldn't cover on the podcast because we didn't know there's a demand for this type of question. You can ask us and we can answer it. So great. Thank you, Ed. And also try the Property Hub as well. Put your question in there and I'm sure you'll get lots of responses. If you want to find some of the links that we've mentioned and more information on this subject, then go to thepropertyhub.net/podcast and we'll link to some of the software pieces you can pick up there. Really simple stuff. That's thepropertyhub.net/podcast.
And don't forget that if you want some more in-depth answers to your questions, you can always join us at a summit. So questions like the ones we've tackled today are absolutely perfect for a podcast. It's a simple question and a simple answer, which is the same for anyone who's listening. But there are plenty of other things that are more tied into your individual situation. And it's things like that where we just can't answer the question properly without getting to know you first. That's where the summits are so good, because we get to know you over the course of an entire day. And you can get input, not just from us, but from 15 other highly motivated, smart investors. If you'd like to find out more about exactly what that is, where it is, when it is, all those questions can be answered for you by just sending us a text. All you've got to do is pull out your phone and text the word SUMMIT, SUMMIT, followed by a space, and then your email address to 88802. We'll reply straight away with some information that you can have a read through and decide if you want to come and join us.
And of course, we hope you do join us. We'll be back on Thursday for the main property podcast, and yes, it's a good one. And we'll also be back next Tuesday, of course, because we are consistent, with another Ask Rob and Rob. So we look forward to seeing you then. I hope you have a good week. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.